Morning, YouTubers. New tool in the shop. Well, not really much of a tool, but I bought one of these Badland off-road jacks. Now, most of you probably don't know, but one of my main hobbies outside of working 100 hours a week is off-roading. I have a pretty built Jeep that I actually built pretty much everything on. And I take that a few times a year when I have time and go wheeling for a couple days, 4 or 5 days at a time. I'm one of the crazy guys that generally always carried a floor jack, and it's an invaluable tool off-road. And all my buddies always made fun of me for doing it, and then they're the ones who blown out tires where if my jack wouldn't have been handy, they would be screwed. So I'm a big fan of carrying a jack. I decided this year to take my penny pinchings from the rest of the year and put it towards something that will actually be fairly useful. And I think this will, especially because this beats with this little adapter to raise the height, putting a cinder block or a stone underneath between your axle and this, or your frame and this, like I've been doing for years. And it's pretty stupid of me, but hey, it works, right? But hopefully this is a little safer, a little smarter. So let's rip into this and see what the hell's in here. Don't need this, right? Well, we may. So the local Harbor Freight doesn't have one of these on display, unfortunately, and I didn't know how big these tires actually were. I mean, the picture shows it, but what does that relate in real life? This is actually a bigger tire than I would have thought I would have had, so that's cool. Looks good. Has shielded metal bearings, I like that. Oh, actually on both sides. I guess, you know, this thing's designed to hold 6,000 pounds. They couldn't really cheap out and put, you know, no bearing on that like it's a shopping cart or something. So that's just the adapter. This must be, yeah, the spacer. Okay. Huh. Whole bunch of parts. Okay, I would say this is actually a little bigger than I thought it was, which, I mean, it isn't a detriment. I'm used to carrying an aluminum jack that's probably 2/3 the length of this. So it just means I'm gonna have to spend a little bit more time to find a spot for this in my Jeep, because being a two-door, I don't really have that much room. All right, let's get this out of here. Man, this sucker's fucking heavy. They should have made an aluminum version of it, but jack handle and the thing. That looks like it, so let's get this the hell out of the way. Set this over here. Yeah, so first impressions, it's bigger than I would have thought. And, you know, like I said, there is no display of it. I've never seen this particular jack in person, so I didn't really know what to expect. I'll make it work for me, but it is pretty big. And honestly, I guess it kind of has to be to support 3 ton. So I think what we'll do is I'm just gonna set this right here and put the wheels on it right away so that I don't have this 60-pound jack sitting on me. So just bear with me a little bit. That's weird, that's not even touching the ground. Huh. I don't think my floor is that far out, but maybe it is. Yeah, I guess my floor is that far out, or something's bent on it, who knows. I'm not really worried about that. So let's see what we got here. All right, whoa, Jesus Christ. Little lanyard ring, I don't know what that's for. Well, we'll promptly lose, oh, two of them. See, almost lost one of them. So I'm gonna take a guess and say because we have nylock nuts here, that we just need to put this washer on every wheel and then tighten that down. It's nice to give you a little wrench. So I'll do that. Now, one thing I did not look into, and nobody mentioned at the store, so I hope is not the case, I did not buy any jack oil. So I hope this has jack oil in it. If it doesn't, I'm gonna kind of be pissed because I'm gonna have to go back and get some. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but probably should have read the packaging if it did or didn't. All right, so it looks a little bit like, you see that? I think it just needs to be put under a load so that everything shifts flat. Because there's a little bit, it's like kind of twisted a little bit per se. I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, I think under a load, it should flatten itself and straighten out. So now it has this, which I believe is to hold, I don't know if it goes here. I'll have to consult the instructional manual, but I know that this pin here, or this extension, why it's tight fit, that this extension fits in here somehow. So this clips it. Ah, I see. So this must go something like, oh, duh, I'm an idiot. Of course, it did not come with Allen keys for this or for these, so I'll have to go and get some. All right, back again. Oh, I feel like an idiot. I don't have my glasses on here. And I'm like, what is this thing for? Well, it's a fucking lock washer. Wow, I'm an idiot. So I got lucky, and the first two things that I grabbed actually happened to be the right ones, and then I wasted a whole bunch of time trying to find other ones thinking they weren't right. Well, I got it solved. So this guy, which I'm not going to be an idiot, I'm going to put these lock washers on there. Make sure that's there. So these lock washers go under there, and then this installs just like this. Not exactly sure why they didn't put this on there from the factory, but it really doesn't matter. So I guess this is designed to where you can leave it in place, which I will, because being that I have a lifted off-road vehicle, I don't really, like this low doesn't even touch anything. Like this height just touches probably my axle. So I will bolt this on and leave it in place. Of course, it would have been too much to ask for an extension. Wow, I'm an idiot. And I got the wrong ratchet. Well, you know what? For the time being, we will leave that off. I'll install it later. That's fine. That's smart that these are threaded so that this doesn't pop off and you lose it. That would be bad. Oh, I'm also an idiot. Look at that. Wow. Comes with the Allen key for that. Didn't even see that. Again, I'm an idiot. I don't have my glasses on. All right, so this thing, I guess maybe you have to take the bolts out because I don't think that, maybe not. Let me try it again. Might go like, oh, I see. So this just threads into the base plate. And then that clips it. Oh, that's cool. So this holds it from moving. That's pretty ingenious. And then it's really easy to remove. And then you got your Allen key on the other side here, so you can actually bolt this down. I really like that. Well, I think this thing is pretty much set up. Now probably, I'll have to put a handle in it. I think this has got a block in place to keep it from. So this is the release. Yeah, I think, and I want to be careful with this and not just break something here, but this should come out. There we go. Okay, not exactly sure. Okay, that's kind of weird. Oh, wow, okay. That's, I'm learning. You would think I would do my research on something like this before I actually looked into buying it, but I didn't. So what this is, when it's in the upright position, it functions as a jack. This, when flipped down, locks the handle in place to where you can't pump it, and it kind of makes it into like sort of a jack stand. So it's like an added safety. I like that. So no issue there, huh? And it also I wonder if it locks no, it does not lock the handle down, it locks it in the upright position. Okay. Wow, this thing actually jacks up pretty fast. I have another Harbor Freight jack, and honestly, I mean, it's worked for 5-6 years, but it doesn't seem to be this good. Yeah, I mean, this thing, I don't know what this is made out of. It's probably some cheap steel, just powder coated really nice, but that's some thick steel. It's like 1/2 inch thick, 3/8, the whole thing. And that's something I found with my aluminum jack that I use for off-roading is it bends, and it is not designed to be, you know, it's a small, cheap one. If it was built like this, it'd be better and less weight, but I don't know. It makes sense to have a steel one, even though this sucker's really heavy. All right, let's put that, lock it in place. Take the handle out. A couple other things I want to look at this. Now, there's that Pro Eagle or whatever jack. And a lot of people have those, and that existed far before this. The reason I never bought one is because of the cost. Those suckers are like $500-600, and I just never thought it was worth that much money. I'm just gonna gently flip this over. Okay, so it has a flat skid plate on the bottom. This is really good because the jack that I generally use does not, and when you're pulling it through mud gets all caught up in there, and if it gets pushed far enough into the dirt, it's a pain to remove it. So this, even in soft soil, you'll end up jacking not off the wheels, but off of this. So that's pretty smart. I had heard that they didn't do that on this model. Clearly they did. Yeah, the handle, because this thing's a pretty heavy beast to handle. Will be nice along with the side handles. So yeah, I think overall I like this thing. It seems to be pretty well built from what I've seen. I guess what we need to do is go out and test it. So let's go and do that now. I apologize for how dark it is in this corner over here. I was about to take this sucker outside and I realized what that lock is for the handle. So it allows you to lift the front of the jack up to go over obstacles, and then you can actually pull and lift it up just like that. So a normal jack, because the handle can move, you'd be jacking it up trying to do this, which means that your only option to take it over like rough terrain or stuff would basically be to carry it. So that's a really smart idea. I would have never thought to put that on a jack, but like I said, makes it really easy without bending over and having to haul this thing up over rough terrain. So that's smart. Let's go out and use it. All right, as you can see, pretty fucking miserable out here. It's been raining all morning, but this happens to touch. Let me pop this. There we go. Unlock the handle. It happens to touch the differential at the bottom of the stroke of the jack. So that's really nice, because on a lifted off-road vehicle, you may not get very far with a traditional jack. You know, you're going to run out of travel. So lift it up that side, no problem. Seems to work pretty good. This also will touch the frame on my Jeep, which is pretty high, and that's the biggest issue, is how do you jack up just the frame? Like if you got some welding repairs to do or something, you need to frame up higher. Normally, and I'm not exaggerating, I would use like a concrete paver or something, or a 4x4. This is obviously a hell of a lot safer than that, and a hell of a lot smarter. So use the right tool for the job, right? But yeah, overall, I'm liking this thing. I guess in conclusion for this video, seems to work. It's built pretty good. I think over time it's gonna straighten that front axle out where both tires touch. It's just a matter, you know, it's bolted together. They probably tightened it with something a little bit, you know, cocked over, who knows. But yeah, they're both rolling kind of now. I guess my only really bad thing I'll have to say about it is just the weight of it. It's pretty frickin' heavy. I mean, I'm used to carrying an aluminum jack, so this is definitely no joke. I'd have to say it's probably 50 pounds, maybe even more, you know, or I'm getting old and lazy and weak, so one of the two, but it's heavy. So yeah, anyways, thanks for sticking around. Until next time, guys.